Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we dive into the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead for them and their companies. I'm your host, Ammar, and in each episode, we uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced along the way, and strategies driving their future growth. Today, we are absolutely thrilled to be joined by David Lewallen, the founder and CEO of Impact SEO, a boutique SEO and website consulting firm helping small and medium-sized businesses increase their visibility and revenue through proven digital strategies. With over 15 years of experience, David has become a go-to expert for business owners looking to rank higher, convert more leads, and build sustainable online brands, even with all the changes happening in the AI realm when it comes to how search functions. David, welcome to Founders Future.
Thank you very much, Ammar. That was a great intro.
I'm glad you like it. I'm excited to dive in. I always like to take a trip down memory lane, so to speak. So can you take me back in time to before you started Impact SEO? What were you doing at the time? And then what was really the motivation behind starting the company?
Yeah, perfect. So I actually graduated college in 2008, and my whole family background was in the real estate space. So I naturally was going to go right into flipping homes. But of course, 2008, that was the year the housing market crashed. So you graduate, and I was looking online at where salaries were going for real estate, and it was literally just a line down into the right. I started looking into other things for my career, and I found for some reason, that was a time when the internet was really just starting to become a place where you could make a living. And so I started looking at salaries for digital marketers, anything to do with the internet. And it literally had the opposite effect. It was like salaries were up and to the right, even during that downturn. So I started working at an agency. I got an internship at a really awesome agency here in San Diego called Business Online, learned SEO under some of the best SEOs at the time. And from there, really just dove into the agency world, was able to work with a lot of great clients from Hewlett Packard to Delta Faucet, Behr Paint, huge, large brand names, medium, small businesses. And then of course, like all across the gamut as far as industries. So from home improvement to SaaS to entertainment, we had DirecTV for a while. Really just got to learn everything about online marketing and specifically search engine optimization. And that was at a time when you could really grow quickly your career, because if you knew anything about SEO back in 2009 or 10, your LinkedIn was just blowing up with companies all over the place wanting to poach you, basically. And it was just a great time. It was the good old days, as we like to call it, for search engine optimization and digital marketing in general. And we were inventing it too. It was like was learning under some folks that had been doing it at that time, maybe for 3 to 5 years. And even then, it wasn't even Google. It was Alta Vista and some of the Yahoos of the world back before Google really solidified itself as the leader in search. And so from there, as we invented stuff, we invented processes, tested a lot of stuff. I was there for about 5.5 years. And then I decided to go on my own. So I got a client. It was just going to be myself, a client. They were going to take care of my salary, and it was going to be a chilled out. Agency life is crazy. I was having a baby, and I thought it might just be a good idea to chill out a little bit, start coming back to 40 hours a week as opposed to the 60, 50 plus that we were working back then. What ended up happening though was I let my company know, hey, I'm going to be going on my own. And it was at a time in the middle of Q4 when I had let them know. And that's the time when, and I didn't do this on purpose, but that's the time when like, you don't really know what your next year is going to look like. And you don't really want to hire somebody at that point. You're just hanging on to the clients you have and trying to figure out who resigns and for how much. So I was like, I'll just take some of these clients and keep them for a while, help you guys transition into another strategist. And they were super happy with that. They're like, absolutely, let's do that. Turned out, now that I had that original client that was going to take care of my salary, now I had all the same amount of work that I had at my agency. So basically just naturally started my own consultancy.
Cool.
Of course, I had to hire folks to help me out. And that was getting into the business world of it all, and not just the strategic part of it. But now I'm starting to grow folks under me, train them up, build processes, and basically just turned it into an agency. So that was try number one of trying to jump out and do an agency. It worked out for a couple of years. I trained some really good guys, a good team, and then personally went through some issues, a divorce, things of that nature, and I found myself. Oh, also the main company that we were working with, they ended up purchasing an SEO agency that they then started funneling their work over there. So it was a good time for me to get out of the business world, get into something a little bit more stable. So I went back to the agency side, and I did 2 more tours of duty at agencies. I worked at Internet Marketing Inc., which became REQ. And then I went to Red Door and worked there for a few more years. And then this is a long-winded story, but one of the guys that I had trained up in my consultancy, he actually went on and continued to basically build his portfolio up on Upwork. He did that for about 8 years and then landed a couple of good clients, one really large, awesome client, multinational company in the supply chain industry. And he was really trying to create an agency himself, had hired a bunch of folks. He did everything offshore. He actually was a digital nomad, moved around, lived in Vietnam, and built up a team through Upwork, but all offshore. And so that way, he could justify lower costs and still provide the same level of services and have those large clients. So it's a really good business model. He approached me. I was looking for something. So this is 2024 Q4. And I was looking for something. I was looking for the next stage of my career. It felt like it was plateauing out at the agency world. And so it was a time to just really try to figure out a move of some sort. And he came to me and he was like, hey, I have this agency. Would you like to buy it? And at that point, it was like, let me see. The good thing is that I knew him. He trusted me. I trusted him. It's difficult to sell a business like a service business like this.
100%.
It's not on the open market. You got to know the person, both if you're the seller and the buyer, and you got to have some kind of built-in trust. So it perfectly worked out. I ended up working with him for about 3 months and still kept my other job just to get into the numbers, get into the clients, understand what he really had to see if there was the value there. And after 3 months of working with him and meeting the clients and getting into meetings and looking at the work, I pulled the trigger. And so, I started full-time as the CEO in January of 25.
Hey, nice. There you go. So we're halfway through the year, a little bit over. Thank you for breaking that down, and helping us understand your journey and the breadth of experience that you have in the digital marketing landscape. And I completely agree with you when it comes to selling a business. I had a buddy of mine that sold his home service business. It was like window cleaning and whatnot, not too long ago. But there's a reason why 1 out of 11 businesses that are up for sale actually sell.
Right.
When you don't have that relationship with people and you don't have that trust and it's just on the open market, it's a different thing. It's not like
Exactly.
in real estate.
Absolutely.
Now let's dive into Impact SEO, what that looks like today. Can you briefly explain to us who is your ICP? Who do you love to work with at that company? And then what are the different packages that you offer? What does that look like?
Yeah. So we basically have 2 different sides of the business when it comes to the clientele. So the first one is our own clients, where we go directly to the client and we are their SEO agency. And when we do that, most of the time we have to do more than SEO because it's usually a slightly smaller budget and they want us to be able to do more. So Impact SEO is actually transitioning to more of a digital agency that we do more than just search. In fact, we're going through a massive brand update right now. We've already decided on the brand name. It's going to be Verbatim Digital.
Okay.
And the idea behind Verbatim Digital is a couple of things. Number one, to express that we're more than just SEO at this point. We do paid search. We do a lot of content marketing. We do digital PR. We do social media management. We even do video editing and production. So we've become pretty much a full service agency.
Got it.
And so that's one side of it, is where we go direct to clients and we have a bigger breadth of services and we manage them that way. That's probably our favorite, right? On one hand, because we're direct to the client, we can charge our fees that we want to charge. When it comes to the other half, it's working through other agencies. So other agencies might have relationships with clients, long-standing ones, maybe they're larger clients, and then we white label for them. So we've got the ability, because of the fact that we have those offshore folks and really well detailed processes, we can scale work really quickly. And a lot of agencies takes them a lot longer to scale for the work. They usually hire at the highly strategic level and then need to figure out the production work. And that's usually more difficult, especially if you're not going offshore. And in this climate, when we have AI, we have a lot of offshore people that are very highly skilled in the trade, but it takes some time and some effort and some work to weed through them and get the right ones. And so that's what we have. Those are the two sides of the business. We've got direct clients, and then we work with a lot of agencies that send us work. We like that relationship too, because for the exact same sort of opposite reasons that we like the direct to client, when it's through the agency, we don't have to deal with that client relationship. So it's just, and they know what they're doing. They know what they need from us. It's, here's the week. We've got this project. It's this much. Go. We give them exactly what they want back. We work with them many times. So we know exactly, how to fill everything out, what they're looking for, and they just deliver that to the client. They have that relationship, and then we move on to the next project. So it's a great way to balance both sides of the house.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. So it sounds like you have, and this is probably one of the reasons why you bought the business, is you have the infrastructure to be able to fulfill. Now it's about, okay, leads, marketing, sales for yourself, and growing the agency. Let's dive into that. When it comes to client acquisition, and you're looking to bring on more people into Verbatim marketing, what does that look like? What are you doing from a lead generation and marketing perspective?
Yeah. As of this year, it's been strictly word of mouth. So working in the industry for 15 plus years, you just have a LinkedIn profile, and not just that, but you've worked with them at one or two other agencies, gotten to know them. They know you, they know your work, they know what you've done. You've been to battle with them, fighting for clients or going through issues with the team. So you've built all these relationships up. And so that's what I've leveraged so far. I would basically reach out to folks that I've been working with and just establish new relationships with some of them, and then deepen others that I've already had. And that's really been the pipeline for 2025. Obviously, that doesn't scale, but it's a great sort of start. We've been able to basically double the business. So when I purchased it, had a certain level of gross and a certain number of clients. We've basically doubled that number in, I'd say, I will call it 6 months, because that first 3 months of work was just understanding the business and kind of deciding on it. So yeah, in 6 months, we've been able to double. I don't see that happening every 6 months into the future, because eventually you tap out with your network. So to answer your question, we're pivoting over to AI heavily when it comes to SEO. So search engine optimization, obviously working with Google, getting your pages and your content up as high as you can so that you can get some of that business that's coming to Google. We see a shift in the market. Everyone sees the AI shift in general, but specifically from an SEO perspective, we're seeing a shift from folks that are going to Google directly to try to find the products and services and learn about them that they're looking for. And they're doing that through ChatGPT, Perplexity, and the like. And so Google basically is a massive ad network. They have $93 billion that they control per year. What we're doing is, or what we're seeing is that is going to slide over, not all of it, but some of it definitely will be sliding over to figure out where are folks searching at this point. It's going to be in ChatGPT and so forth. We're a young sort of new business in a sense, since I'm taking it over. It's been around for a while, but we're also going through this massive shift with me taking it over. And then again, with the industry sort of shifting over to AI, we really feel that we're nimble enough to make a shift to AI and start to really learn. It's a learning phase. There's no experts in AI optimization at this point. Nobody can call themselves that. It's been around for a couple of years, right? But we know it's going that way. We can test for it. And Verbatim Digital is going to lean heavily into AI. And the way we're going to get leads is we're actually building some software that's going to allow us to understand how well your brand is doing in ChatGPT, Perplexity, and so forth. And it's a newer area for software. So we feel like we can be a first mover there. And we're going to use that not just as a way to measure the effects of our optimizations that we're doing, but we're also going to use it as a lead gen engine. We're coupling that with a speech that's going to happen at Writing SEO, actually 2 speeches, which is happening in September. It's a big conference for the industry. It's been around in UK for many years, but they came to the US and San Diego specifically just a couple of years ago. And so I'm on the circuit there. I have a couple of talks I'm going to give. So we're going to couple the launch of Verbatim Digital, the new software that at that event, and we have a booth and all that. And so that's how we are projecting to get a lot more leads, put our stamp in the industry as what we're going to be about. And it's all going to come to a head in September.
Nice. Exciting. So it sounds like really the software in terms of a lead engine, it's more so a lead magnet that will get somebody to come in, hey, get a free audit, or AI will give you an audit. How well is it doing in ChatGPT, your business? And then the way that you're going to drive people to that is through the speech in September in Brighton.
Absolutely. Yep.
Perfect. Now, you mentioned a great point when it comes to more predictability and more consistency, because obviously at a certain point, the word of mouth, the network taps out. I'm curious, after September, do you have any plans beyond that when it comes to building a predictable lead generation engine? Because obviously the software, people can opt into that. But are you thinking of specific channels? Are you thinking of doing paid media yourself, doing some cold outreach campaigns that are targeted, or even niching down further with your who you serve? What's the thought process there?
Yeah, all of the above, really. So it'll be a big test to see what happens in September. Are people liking the software? Are they? And really, it's about selling the services on top of the software. I think that's going to give us a lot of learnings. And then from there, obviously, our pipeline will be built. We'll be working the pipeline. And then to further it, we feel like these days it's about getting out there. I still like the idea of relationships. It is what's helped build the business to what it is. But now we just need to take those relationships digitally. And so it's things like this, like podcasts. It's probably more industry events, as well as just getting out on social media, putting things out there. And I actually don't mind the cold outreach idea of things as well. Mining job postings and things like that, where companies are going and letting you know that they're trying to hire for XYZ. We do want to niche down specifically to AI optimization and AI visibility optimization. So looking for where those folks are having conversations.
Yep.
A lot of it's happening in places like Upwork, and you would be surprised at the size of companies. Not all of them. A lot of them are mom and pops or small businesses, but there's some mediums in there. There's some large businesses in there that are looking for folks.
Yeah. No, I know guys that have gotten $12K per month contracts off of Upwork. It's I'm completely bought into that.
Yep.
Walk me through. You mentioned a lot of different things there. When it comes to the sales piece, let's say a lead does come in through the door. What are the different steps that they go through? Typical, you've got discovery, then you've got the longer closure call type thing. Are you the one running those calls? Is that what your process looks like? Elaborate a little bit.
Yeah. So that's actually where our bottleneck is right now, is that I'm doing everything from leading clients to strategy, leading the business to marketing and sales. Obviously, that doesn't scale. So we're training up some of the highly skilled folks that we have into being more of a strategist and being able to take some of that off my plate. And then from there, yeah, I'm going to basically turn and put all my focus into driving leads and then working those leads, potentially having even a smaller team helping me drive some of these leads and then qualify them. And then, yeah, have me on the back end coming in and doing a lot of the meetings, working through the audits, obviously leveraging AI as much as we can to get the audits to a point where it's not so labor intensive. And then also using offshore folks to help mitigate some of that extra time that does have to be done by a human. And then, yeah, looking to qualify those leads and then get them on calls, do the audits, present them, and then the follow-up and all that, obviously as automated as we can. But those are all things that are being built as the ship is moving down the river.
And now focus is really building the right infrastructure, training setters, training closers, really ramping them up to be able to close at a higher percentage, ideally where you're at, if not more.
Yep. Exactly.
I'm curious when it comes to your vision and where you want to take the company revenue wise, let's say over 12 months.
Yep.
What does that currently look like?
We're at about 20 a month, and we want to double over the course of the next 6 months. And then, so yeah, we're looking at if we can get 40 coming in per month, I think we'd be pretty healthy and be able to sustain some of the investments we're making in the software, in the marketing event, and things of that nature. And then from there, yeah, we think in about 3 years we can get to that first million, and then after that, hopefully scaling each year. So yeah, we don't want to be. We're not looking to make 20 a million in a year. We're happy with 1 to 3. I think that'll be very healthy, and then we'll figure out an exit plan at that point. But we're not thinking that far ahead yet.
I like it. Hey, on the path to 20, you're gonna have to hit 1 to 3 anyways.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the target. Why do you feel like it's gonna take 3 years? Why not sooner?
I just did some extrapolation of like how many clients we have gotten in the last 6 months.
I think.
And then with this software, and the event, I wanted to be conservative, but that's what we were thinking.
What do you feel like is the biggest challenge you're facing to getting to that first million?
Basically, yeah, it's just getting our name out there and getting enough leads to turn into those qualifieds that we get in front of. So it's really just a matter of we know we've got what folks want to buy. We know we have great services. It's just translating that into enough marketing to get to how we can close those deals at the right rate.
Yeah. What is one piece of advice you would give to new agency owners that are getting started in 2025? Let's say somebody, very similar situation, they had some experience before, they left an agency and they want to start their own. What's a piece of advice you would give them?
Yeah, I would say one of the really awesome things that I've seen that's happened relatively quickly and definitely is different from when I first started my first agency back in 2013.
Yeah.
Is the technology that we have at our fingertips now allows for things like everybody remote. That cuts out any kind of building. Last time I had a building, I had everybody coming into the office. That has its positives, of course.
100%. Yeah.
But the investment that it takes, it doesn't really put dollars back into your pocket when you can do it all remote with video conferencing. And then I would say that's one piece of it. And then there's and then this is like before AI, right? There's other technology that's really helping. Obviously, AI is huge, but things that honestly that I think are a little bit not talked about as much as they should be in this regard are things like Loom and screen sharing, building a process on paper and then passing that to somebody with a video overlay of watching you go through the steps. You can train people so much faster. It's even faster than in person because it's here's a 5-minute video. I can put you on your way and I give you all your login information. Everything can be done from your seat and it can be done in your time zone. So we don't have to schedule a meeting. It's absolutely changed the game when it comes to being able to manage an offshore team of many.
1000%. And now they have a recording that they can go back to every day if they need to for the first couple weeks before they get the hang of it. Yeah, I love Loom. I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday and I sent him a Loom video and he's like, how much do you pay for this? I'm like, you don't pay for Loom? I thought everybody knew what Loom was. It's $10.
Yeah.
$10 a month, bro.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, 100%.
With that being said, for the people that want to work with you, that want to reach out, what is the best way for them to do?
They can just email me. So it's david.lewallen, LEWALLEN at verbatimdigital.com.
Verbatimdigital.com. Okay. I like it. So how do you spell verbatim?
VERBATIM.
Okay, that's what I thought. I just wanted to double check and make sure, because if I had that question, probably somebody listening.
Absolutely.
As well. Any final words before we wrap up?
No, I really enjoyed it. I was wondering if I was going to be able to wrap through all that. I prepared and went through, but it's funny how the stuff just when it's your life, it just comes out. I hope I wasn't too much, but
I love it, man.
All right. Perfect. Awesome.
Thank you for your time.
Absolutely.
So that wraps up another insightful episode of Founders Future. To our listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to reach out to David Lewallen. He gave you his email. Just rewind. It's right there. And we'll also link to his LinkedIn profile somewhere around here, so it'll be pretty easy to find. And if you're inspired by today's conversation, don't forget to subscribe to Founders Future wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. And if you are a business owner, specifically a coach, consultant, or an agency owner, and you're looking to scale your business and really enhance your sales and marketing efforts, visit closers.io to discover how we can support your growth journey. Until then, keep on climbing.